My name is Alyssa, sometimes Glanville. Now I'm actually McKeever. I got married last year, and so I actually took Sean's last name recently. So making that name change right now.
What do you like about West Coast swing?
That's a very broad question. I think there's so much about this dance that's really unique, and that is why so many people are drawn to it. I think there is so much freedom of expression, and I think that's a beautiful element. And we get to draw so much inspiration from other dances and such a variety of music as well. Like, to me, it's very open-ended, and one of my favorite things about the dance is that it's a living dance. So it's constantly shifting and evolving as the music trends are changing. And so we always get to keep growing and learning because there's no ceiling to the dance. We get to keep growing with the dance, and I think that's so special.
Which dancers inspire you?
Um, I think in general, people who are very good movers inspire me. So that is not exclusive to dance. That can be people who are really good in yoga, or people who know how to control their body in powerlifting. The dance specific people that I really love to watch are Keone and Mari. So they are solo dancers.
The girl is persuasive, the girl I trust, the girl is bad, the girl is dangerous.
But they're married, and a lot of their solo is partnered together. And I think their intricacies are so unique, and their detail work is really, really cool. Another solo dancer is Dylan Mayerell. He's amazing. Sean and I went and did a solo intensive taken just from him, and it's also quite similar, like very detailed movement. And I like the subtlety that can be mixed in with the power. In the West Coast community, it's such a long list of dancers, both who've come before me and who've also been more new to the scene. The main people who inspired me as I was a young dancer when I was coming up were Melina Ramirez, Melissa Roots, Sarah Van Drake, Tatiana, like Virginie. It's such a long list. And I'm constantly inspired by what Victoria Hank does, what Nicole does, like my peers alongside me. There's so many talented dancers out there, and it's so cool to see what each of them brings to the table. I think the ultimate one for me, though, is I actually am the most inspired by myself and by what I do, because I know my dance better than anyone. I study myself more than anyone else because I want to make sure I know my dance inside and out. And so I spend the most time watching and studying the small details of my own body. And it's easy to watch yourself and be critical. It's taken time to watch myself and actually like and be inspired by what I do.
Did you do any dances before West Coast swing?
So I actually started in folk dancing when I was 5. And it was a long time ago, very long. And I was just very irregular. I would go to class like once a month. And then I found Lindy Hop when I was 8. I found Lindy Hop when I was 8 and started doing just old school swing. Again, very irregularly because I did a lot of other sports and activities. And I found more of the ballroom side of dance when I was 15. And that was very light ballroom, more of a, what is it called? It's like a cotillion style training for kids. And that's where I found West Coast. That's actually where I met Sean too, when we were kids. And that's where I was introduced into West Coast, and I still loved Lindy Hop way more. But that's when I started to see West Coast and started to learn it. And then that's how I went to my first ever West Coast event, which was Boogie by the Bay in 2008. And then I got into solo dance after that. and found more ballet, which I didn't do very long, more hip hop and jazz, which I liked more. Again, did kind of inconsistently because I was doing a lot of other things at the same time.
What's your workout routine that makes you so powerful and explosive?
Oh man, I do a lot of different things for training. I am a personal trainer, so I studied to be a personal trainer during COVID, and so I program for myself a lot. I do a mixture of powerlifting, so like deadlifts, squats, like more of the heavy lifting of weights, and then I'll do more HIIT stuff, so high intensity cardio intervals. I find that's really helpful for training for routines because it's 3-minute intervals, which is what I have to do for classic. So I'll do a lot more HIIT leading up to the open or a big performance. I do more powerlifting and heavier weight training when I'm just trying to put on a little bit more muscle. And usually, realistically, I train about 5 days a week. If I'm home, it's every day, something. If I'm on the road, it's a little bit harder to train on like Saturday of an event. That's usually the day I have to take off because it's too much, too busy. And then I usually try to put in at least 1 day of yoga or something that's going to be more flexibility or mobility training.
How long have you known each other?
We've known each other since we were, I think, I was 13 and he's 3 years older, so he was 16.
How did your partnership start?
Oh man, so we've known each other for a long time. We were both peers and friends in the West Coast community as we were pros and as we were becoming pros. And we started to partner, what was it? Almost, I was saying 3 years ago. And it was kind of an opening to try this out. Let's see if the partnership will work, and we'll maybe just try to do one routine. And as we started to work together, it was really clear, like, oh, we fit like stylistically really well, and we really learned how to dance together and create a really unique way of moving together. So it was pretty clear pretty quickly that it's like, oh, this is not a short-term thing. This is going to be more long-term as a partnership.
How did you work to achieve such an evolution in your dancing?
Yeah. How did I work? So a lot of time and consistency. So I think there was a time before COVID where I was still working very hard, but I was in school, I was in college while I was traveling full time, and so my attention was very split. So I was still improving, I think, but it was slower. And then when COVID hit, I actually took it as an opportunity to really train. So I danced all day, every day. I have my living room, I converted it into a dance studio. So I had mirrors on the wall. I had no furniture in the living room, no couches, nothing. It was just bare. And I would just go in there and solo dance every day. And then I also was lucky that in my house, I had 3 leaders who were all stars. And like they were all hungry and interested in learning and having fun with dance. And so whenever I wanted to practice, I would just grab one of them and dance with them. And we would have like sessions where the 4 of us would dance together and just play and trade information. And I think having that time of like basically a year and a half of just every day was really, really helpful for me. And even just going into the room by myself and doing something, just being consistent with that was really, really beneficial.
How did the creation of your choreo camp event happen?
It's Sean's event. It's more Sean's event. Choreo camp, that is his baby. He started it in 2017, and I did not really become a part of it until 2021. But he really wanted to make choreography more accessible and make it so that people who were interested in learning through choreography didn't have to do a pro-am routine or a rising star routine to actually get the experience. And this is something that solo dancers have all the time, is that they learn through choreography, and there just wasn't an option for that in West Coast. And so he really wanted to open up that opportunity. And it's been really cool to be involved in it with him and be a part of it. and be kind of the support system.
Can you tell us about your online platform?
Yeah. My voice is going. So we have an online platform, 𝓘𝓷𝓽𝓮𝓻𝓿𝓲𝓮𝓀. We've had it now for over 2 years, actually, which is cool. And we built it with the intent of just allowing access to us for people who live far away, and even for people who live near us but don't get to see us very often. We have 3 different tiers that people can subscribe to. So the lowest tier, we have on-demand videos, so videos that we've already recorded. And then we add all of our workshop recaps on there so people can go through and see like hours of recap videos and just kind of get a piece of information from that. Our middle tier, that's our growth level. We have live classes, so they're on Zoom. They're bi-weekly, so every other week. And we usually take on a certain topic and do a deep dive into that topic for 12 weeks. And we also have an online like community where people will post videos, they'll post their homework videos and stuff, and we'll give feedback, and the students will comment on each other's videos and give encouragement back and forth. And we also have a live styling class that we do monthly with that one. The highest tier, we have all of those things, plus we have a monthly individualized feedback session. So with the people that are in the enthusiast level, we sit down with them, and they each get about 20 minutes of personalized time. And they can either like show a video of their most recent comp, they can show us something that they're working on, and it basically ends up being like a small group private. Yeah.
If you were to tell us about the highlight of the year.
Oh man. Dance-wise or just anything? Okay. Well, the US Open just happened. I think actually, I'll start there and then I'm going to go back to the beginning of the year. I think the highlight for me with the Open was the preparation, actually, because the way we prepared this year was very different than years in the past. And every day we just had a routine that we had to do. We follow the plan, and we don't really have to think very much. And every day was just like a small win because the process was so rewarding. And so coming into the Open, we felt so comfortable. And that to me it's the first time I've felt comfortable coming into the Open. And that was such a shift, and it was so much nicer. And so that was a huge highlight for me, is just how Sean and I worked together and how that process felt compared to other years. And then another one was the run that we had at the Open. I've never felt anything like that before. I felt like we were the only 2 people in the world. And sometimes when you're doing a routine at the Open, because it's so like the lights are so bright, it's so many people, like you can black out a little bit. And that's the most present I've ever felt during a routine. And that was, I've heard people talk about that feeling, but I've never had it. So that was very special to me, and it's something that I will hold on to. And I think for earlier this year, we got to experience going to Japan together. And that was very, very cool. We taught in Japan. We did a small workshop weekend. The community there is amazing. And we just loved going around together. Victoria was with us, and we just got to spend friend time together and also just experience a very different culture together. And that was so unique.
Do you have a funny anecdote?
Oh, I have so many, but now I have to think of them. Just one. Oh no. Okay, I have maybe 2, maybe. This one is like not as funny, but it's, I think, cute. So my birthday is always at the Open. Yeah. You too? No. Yeah. And it was my second Open. I was turning 18 and I competed in juniors. You can still compete in juniors if one of the partners is under 18. I was dancing with 𝓘𝓷𝓽𝓮𝓻𝓿𝓲𝓮𝓀, and I turned 18 Saturday night, or it was Friday night. It was Friday night. And there was some issue with Showcase. Their music had some issues. And Connor, who was my partner, messaged Robert Royston, who was emceeing, and was like, Alyssa just turned 18, because it was midnight. And so I had just turned 18, and he was trying to fill time because the music wasn't working for Showcase. And so Robert actually called me out to the floor, and I stood there really awkwardly as the entire room sang happy birthday to me at the open, which was a very cool experience. Very like, I look so awkward. There's a photo of it. It's terrible. So that was a cool moment. And I don't know if this is funny, but I definitely made someone bleed during a Jack and Jill in intermediate, where I was dancing with someone who was very, very tall. And this was our first song of finals, and it was a 4-song final. It was heated. And this is at Boogie by the Bay, actually. And we were dancing the first song, and I did some like cool arm styling that I had just learned in a class. And and instead of the arm going like up and over, it went up and into my leader's nose, and he started bleeding. And so it just slowly started to come down his face in the first song. And so we danced the whole final, and I was just kind of like, just don't look at it. Just look at his eyes. Don't look at his nose. I felt so bad. I have not seen him since. But he was very gracious about it. Injuries happen. Yeah.
Any feedback on these videos?
This was a special choreo for us because it's more detailing of our story and how no relationship or partnership is perfect and happy and smiley all the time. You go through highs and lows. You go through challenges, and it's not about the challenge that's not the thing that holds you back. It's the thing that you move through together, and it makes you stronger on the other side. And it was really interesting to do a choreo to a song that had no lyrics, because we had to make sure that our story was, and the emotions and expressions that we brought out was very clear. Because I really wanted to make sure people knew what we were feeling, so they know what to understand. And yeah, it was a special piece to get to show, because it feels very personal. Yeah, so that was another choreo that Sean and I made for choreo camp. So that was our highest level choreo for choreo camp this past year. And we taught that piece a couple of different places. We've gotten to teach it in Germany, in Australia. We taught it at choreo camp in Seattle. And it's a piece that it also has no lyrics, but it has a very distinct story that it's very interesting to share, because it's not super happy. And it's kind of like eerie and weird. And so when we were taking photos with Andrew in Paris, he was like, oh, I can film something. And we're like, oh, let's do Sleepwalk. Like, absolutely. And we filmed it in Paris in this really cool hallway. And we didn't get to finish it because there's a part right after where the video cuts off, where I have to do this back bend, and I was in this really short skirt. It was not going to happen. But yeah, I loved that piece. Is special in a different way, because it's exploring more the eerie, weird, adjacent to West Coast swing style that we do sometimes, where it's still West Coast swing, but it has a lot more of the detailing that we love from Keone and Mari, and from more of the solo dancer side of things.
Your style in 3 words.
Oh, 3 words. I think creative, powerful, and detailed. That's hard though.
Do you have any new projects?
I have one, but I can't talk about it yet.
Do you have any advice for us?
I have many. Most of them are things that I wish I heard myself sooner. I think the more that you can be true to yourself, the better. I think trying to be someone else or trying to dance the way you think the judges want you to dance is really limiting. And I think that being really authentic to what your personality is, what your style is the most important thing. And then being technical around that. But I think, yeah, honoring what you love about the dance and letting that be your priority. And then when people give you information and when you learn things from different teachers, let that information filter through and pick and choose what works for you and what doesn't. Just because someone tells you to do something doesn't mean it's necessarily right for you and your body. So see if it works on you, and if it doesn't, maybe set it aside. Maybe you can use that information in 2 years or 3 years, but you don't need to try to apply everything you learn right away. And I think there's so many things. The only person who really cares about what you do is you. And I think knowing that you need to give yourself some grace and some leeway. Be your biggest encouragement. Like, build yourself up as much as you can, because the temptation is always going to be to see your flaws and see what you're not doing. And I think that it's self-sabotage. It tears us down more. It beats us up more. And I think the more that you can build yourself up and build up the other followers around you, the more community we have, the more of a tight-knit feeling we have. And that encouragement, it shows on the floor. It's a big deal. And I think the last thing, and this is relevant for any dancer, I think the more you can stop caring about what other people think of you, the better. I think that's when people's dance really explodes, it's usually because they stopped caring, which sounds so counterintuitive, but once you stop caring about what other people think and only like prioritize what you want to do and what you feel and exactly what feels good to you, that's actually going to be the best version of you as a dancer. Thank you for listening.